Hey, what's up, Liron here. I want to share with you something really fun today. So this is going to be an experiment on how far we can take looseness in our watercolors. So I have this lovely scene. It's a picture of a car I took a while ago in our previous apartment where we lived. And I want to show you how far you can take messiness in watercolor and almost encourage you to perhaps stop being so bent on getting things accurately. Let me zoom in a bit because I see so many people who obsess over accuracy in watercolor, and that's okay, that is perfectly fine, but you don't have to be accurate. If you want to be accurate, so be it. What I care more about is how expressive I can be with my art. So look at my pencil lines. Now, yes, I'm quite experienced in laying these down, but this is far from accurate, I think. And it's definitely far from detailed. So let's begin. I am going to, I'm going to start with this lovely Michael Soloviev brush. I have links to all of my tools and supplies in the description box if you want to. Now, let me show you something. The left side, if you check it out, if you swatch the color on Photoshop, which I have done before this process, you'll notice there is a black layer, then there is a bluish layer, a gray layer, blue for the sky that's a little stronger, a bit of highlights, and then it goes the other way around, like a palindrome, basically. It's the same from both sides, whichever side you look at from. So I'm going to start with the left side. Now, you see all sorts of details there, right? You see there's a bit of a highlight for the window, and there's a lot of details there, but I don't care about any of these. Now, in my swatching, I noticed there's a bit of green here, so I'm going to use that. And you see I totally missed any actual highlight for the window other than this little strip of line and this here. Okay, that is perfectly fine. Now, I absolutely love that windshield here at the back. I don't know if it's called a windshield officially, but so be it. So I'm going to start just placing in some shapes for it. In the middle, what I see is a big mess of blues and warms, so I'm going to grab this grayish blue, and I'm going to kind of place it in random spots. And then I see quite a lot of warmish colors for the building, the walls. People struggle with these. It's really not that difficult. It's a neutral form of gray. This is usually what these are made of. So if you use kind of a neutral form of gray, you'll get it to look nice. Now here's the fun part. So this is gray. So I'm going to mix this somewhat lighter of a gray, something like this. Now it may seem strange to you. How come this is gray? Well, I'm going to show you. It's going to look a little warm. Even if it looks a little warm to you or it looks a little violet-y, this is actually more of a gray. The thing that's going to make it look more warm, perhaps, is the blue that we're going to place down the center of the car. Okay, and it's quite a strong dark blue. And I'm going to keep some gaps for perceived highlights, and also just to make sure they don't mix too much together. Okay, and you have that same blue here in the front. Now, if we just follow some of the shapes, we see things will end up making sense, believe it or not. So I'm going to go back to this gray right around here. And you know what? Just for fun, let's make it a little violet-y. So I'm going to add a bit of red here and a bit more of my blue. I'm using phthalo, ultramarine kind of interchangeably. So let's make this a little warmer. Same on the other side, a little bit of warmth, that is fine. And we'll get the other side of reflections right here. And then to the right, we're going to darken it up. I'm going to go for a bit of darks. Look at how inaccurate I am, okay? That's the main thing I want to share with you today. Look at how I'm really enjoying the flow of watercolor. What happens if I put the paint here? What happens if I go for this consistency? What happens if I go stronger, if I go weaker? Let's get this nice part here. So there's darks, right? There's this black, and then there's this gap here that's a little more on the blue side. And there's also a bit of room for the license plate. So for the license plate, I'm going to switch over to a smaller brush. And the idea here is we're not going to get an accurate result, but we're going to get something beautiful that really expresses how we enjoy painting, how you personally enjoy painting. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? And then perhaps we have this bit of bluer area right around here. And I'm not accurate at all. Even in my areas, you saw my sketch, it's a mess, right? Now I'm gonna add a bit of reds here for the tail lights, like so. And I'm gonna start pushing colors in the direction I want. So I'm gonna push the middle blue to be a little more ultramarine, especially down here at the bottom. And maybe I'll include a bit of it here. Almost, it's not really there, but I can put a bit of it there. And I'm gonna start making just the edges of my slightly darker violet, maybe a little darker, around here and there. These areas that I left blank could actually, I could use some of them for darks. So I'm gonna just throw in a couple of darks here as well, above the windows as well. Now you may tell me, where is the window? I don't see anything. That's the whole point. Don't try to follow what I'm doing. Find your own sense of freedom in creation. If you find your own sense of freedom, it's gonna be easy to paint things as you envision them, as you see them, as you imagine them, however you like, okay? Now, once we start pouring in some darks, let's say here to the back, things will start maybe connecting a bit. Maybe they won't, and that is fine, but I'm just trying to show you the fun looseness of it. And if you can get even just one of the shapes to feel like the thing that it is, you're doing a great job, okay? So we have a bit of dark here, around the bottom, and we have all sorts of vague details here on the actual windshield at the front. We have two mirrors, so 1, 2, and then if we really want to, I think we need to make this clearer. This transition here from light to dark needs to be clearer. There we go. We have this bit of antenna or whatever that is. We have this here. And you start to feel like this is a reflective, chromatic surface, right? And then I can start merging it with the background, which is essentially a bunch of grays. We have a bit of pink here to the left that we can kind of paint in. Maybe even make it a little stronger. There we go. And then just a bunch of gray, neutrals, even warms here and there, that are gonna wrap this entire thing up. And you can leave like a highlight around it if you want to, or if you feel like painting all over it, that's fine. What adding the ground is gonna do is give some meaning to the highlights. As always, once you get the full context, the lights actually mean what they should mean, and so on. Now, as we get to the right, I feel like it goes a little cooler, but I'm not following it again as exactly as I see it, but I feel like it goes a little cooler and darker. So here we go, cool and dark, because the light comes a little bit from the left perhaps. And all of this gets to be a little darker. There's a shadow underneath, so that gets to also be darker. There's a shadow as close as we are to the car. The closer we are, the stronger the shadow is. And yeah, there's a bunch of details, but I'm not adding them, like the fence and stuff like that. I don't really care about that. All I care about is, look at this beautiful mess, okay? And occasionally I enjoy just painting like this. And if you look at this long enough, you'll start noticing things that look like things. So for example, you'll notice that these start to look like the reflections of the buildings to the side. These start to look like the highlights of the balconies and different details. And you can take this farther if you want. You can bring back the highlights and kind of work in stages, almost like you would with opaque paint. So if you see a couple of highlights you want to add, you just add them in. There's a bit of a highlight here. I actually see this bit of a format of highlights going lengthwise. This is light enough, but here maybe you want to add a bunch of other reflections. So you can do that. Across this area, you do get a bunch of reflections from the building. A bit of it here. I left some of it, but some of it is necessary. I do see these milky blue reflections, so why not mix those in? Let me show you. Right around here, there's a beautiful reflection actually of the sky. Something like that. Again, all of these things you missed, you can bring back. Look at this beautiful sense of reflection, reflectiveness, just generally speaking. If you want to bring back these highlights to the side, you can do that. Though I like leaving them out sometimes. Maybe here as well. Maybe you notice that there's a strong envelope of darkness around that highlight we just added, so you add that in. The more of these you add in, the more context it gets. I'm actually going to add a few lighter reds here. Feels like it's missing that. Maybe something like this here. There we go. See? A bit more of a brightness to it. And again, will you get an accurate result? No. But what my point is that by doing this, by finding your freedom, your ability to let go with the paint, this is exactly how you end up finding your accurate results, by finding that freedom. If you're not finding that freedom, what will happen is you'll always be bound by processes. You'll always feel like you have to do a wash that covers a certain area. You have to work in a template-oriented way. Let me cover up first this area very gradually, very tediously. Let me add the ground wash, right? Painted in 5 glazes to make it dark enough but also flow. There's nothing wrong with that if that's what brings you joy. But what I think is a lot of people are completely frustrated with feeling like they have to work based on a template. Honestly, it's soul crushing. If you can avoid it, and if you're not interested in that and you can avoid it, you'll benefit greatly from it. This was my point. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to check out the frustration-free watercolor course, link below. If you want to learn how to paint like this, how to completely let go with watercolor, get the results you want, find that sense of freedom, be able to paint whatever you want, however you want, and find your own style that way, find your own approach, find your own solutions to your problems, your own very creative solutions to problems. Be sure to check that out, link in the description box below. I also want to take this opportunity and thank from the bottom of my heart everyone who supports me over on Patreon. You make it possible for me to make tons of free content for everyone to watch, and I'm super grateful for it. And if you want to receive credits at the end of the videos, that's how you get them. So I want to thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next vid. Until next time, take care.